Imagine doing everything right. You put in the work, you get a great job, you build a solid social life, you're hitting the gym like 5 days a week, your apartment is totally put together.
Right. You're doing all the things society tells you to do.
Exactly. You are, by all conventional metrics, a total catch. And the moment you finally give a woman all your time and attention, like the exact moment you show her that you're fully invested in her, she completely loses interest. She just goes ice cold.
It's a brutal reality.
Yeah.
And it's something that leaves so many guys completely paralyzed.
Yeah, just staring at their phones.
Oh, absolutely. You're staring at your phone, you're rereading the text thread, and you're just wondering what the hell just happened. Because all your life, movies, television, and even the women in your life have told you that undivided attention and relentless effort are the keys to a relationship.
Right, you're supposed to chase her.
Right. But out here in the real world, the exact opposite is playing out.
I see it constantly. Guys are waking up to this massive, just seismic shift in modern dating dynamics. They're realizing that blindly competing for a woman's attention just because she looks good, it's a losing strategy.
It's a rigged game.
It is. And because men are starting to opt out of that old game, it is sending absolute shockwaves through the dating market right now. If you listen to the conversations happening, women are openly expressing this deep confusion and frankly, like, a lot of frustration that the old rules just aren't working anymore. Men are acting differently.
And that frustration is exactly what we need to unpack today. Because buried inside those raw, unfiltered complaints that women are making about modern men right now, that's where the hidden blueprints are. That's how attraction, confidence, and leverage actually work.
Yeah, listening to what they complain about is the ultimate cheat code.
Exactly. If you pay attention to what women say they hate right now, you uncover exactly what you need to do to succeed.
So let's jump right into this phenomenon. There's this widespread sentiment floating around. You see it everywhere, in coffee shops, at high-end bars. I call it the Thursday night mystery.
Okay, lay it out for me.
So you have these groups of highly attractive women. They are fresh out of Pilates, wearing the perfect outfits, sitting around eating expensive steak on a Thursday night. And they look around the room and genuinely wonder, where are all our future husbands? Where are the men?
It's a fascinating dynamic to watch.
Yeah.
They're putting in all this aesthetic work, right? Presenting themselves at these premium social venues, and they are experiencing total radio silence. Nobody's approaching them.
Right. And add to this the phenomenon of the gym girl. You have highly attractive women going to the same gym consistently. We're talking 3 straight years, 5 days a week, and they are bewildered because they've been approached maybe once in all that time.
Yeah, and so they start internalizing it.
Exactly. They ask themselves, am I unapproachable? Do I look mean? Are guys just intimidated by this bad bitch energy I'm bringing?
And that right there is the fundamental misunderstanding. They assume the problem is a lack of courage on the man's part. They think men are just too scared to step up to the plate.
I have to push back on that a little bit, though, because aren't a lot of guys genuinely intimidated? Like, if a woman is stunning and she has that closed-off resting scowl, most guys are terrified of getting rejected in public.
Well, sure, the average guy might be terrified. But we aren't talking about the average guy who doesn't know any better. We are talking about the men these women actually want.
The confident, established guy.
Exactly, the high-value men. Those men haven't suddenly lost their courage. They've recalibrated. They have deliberately opted out of a game where the rules are just completely stacked against them.
How so?
When a woman projects this impenetrable, intense energy, which usually translates to, zero eye contact, crossed arms, wearing huge headphones, and just this aura of superiority, she thinks she is filtering out the weak men. She's actually filtering out the smart men.
Wait, that's a huge distinction. So why does a smart, confident guy look at that aesthetic perfection, see the scowl, and just walk away? Like, what is the calculus happening in his head?
It comes down to the opportunity cost of his attention. A man with options values his peace, and he values his time. He is no longer willing to jump over a series of unnecessary emotional hurdles just to say hello to a woman who expects him to be overwhelmingly grateful for her mere presence.
Right. You hear this attitude constantly right now. Stuff like, if I'm not your type, we don't need to talk, or I haven't had a crush in 3 years, I just want someone to entertain me.
It's a massive amount of arrogant, demanding energy. It essentially says, dance for me.
Yeah.
Prove your worth.
Yet entertain me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a high-value man looks at that and thinks, no thanks. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. Think of it like a business transaction, right? If you walk into a dealership to buy a car and the salesperson immediately acts like they are doing you a massive favor just by letting you look at the lot.
You don't try harder to impress the salesperson.
No, you just leave and go to a different dealership.
That makes perfect sense. Like, compare this to approaching women at a normal social event, maybe a networking mixer or a lounge. If you walk up to a woman and she makes it immediately clear that she expects you to perform, for her to be the court jester because she's bored a guy who actually respects himself, seamlessly pivots.
He doesn't get mad.
Right. He doesn't argue, he doesn't act butthurt, he just takes his attention elsewhere.
Which leaves her sitting there with her steak, looking around the room, wondering why the only guys who do approach her are the ones she has absolutely zero respect for.
The desperate ones.
Yeah. The guys who approach that intense, arrogant energy are usually the ones operating out of pure desperation. They will tolerate blatant disrespect just for a 1% chance of getting our number. And obviously she isn't attracted to that lack of self-respect.
So it's a vicious cycle for her.
It is. The men she actually desires see the entitlement, categorize her as a liability rather than an asset, and they keep walking.
So, bringing this back to you, the listener, if you are navigating this right now, the core takeaway is realizing that your attention is a currency. In fact, it is the most valuable thing you possess in the dating market.
Absolutely.
The moment you stop giving it away for free to women who just want to be entertained, your value skyrockets. You have to stop looking at approaching women as an audition where you hope they kick you. You are the one selecting to.
That's the mindset shift right there.
Right. If she isn't making it a warm, inviting interaction, you take your currency and you spend it elsewhere.
It is a complete perspective shift. You are the prize just as much as she is.
And that perspective shift ties perfectly into an incredibly revealing situation I was analyzing recently. I call it the burrito shop encounter. Let me set the scene for you, because the underlying psychology here is absolute gold.
Okay, I love these. Lay it out.
So a woman is at a local burrito shop. She gets to the register, and the cashier suddenly says, "Sorry, our machine is down, cash only." She starts panicking. She's fumbling through her purse, sprawling these crumpled dollar bills out on the counter, clearly flustered.
We've all been there, it's awkward.
Super awkward. And standing right next to her at the register is a guy. She admits later that he is objectively handsome, probably in his mid-30s, clearly put together. He watches her frantically counting out dollars, smiles, and makes a joke. He says, "Oh, so you're going to pay for my food with all that cash?"
A classic, slightly cocky tease. It breaks the tension.
Exactly, but she does not laugh. She gives him the absolute silent treatment, ice cold, just ignores him entirely.
Ouch.
Yeah, so their food gets ready at the exact same time. They walk out of the shop and head to the parking lot simultaneously. He turns to her and casually says, "Can I get your number?" Right. And she rejects him flat out. She actually says later that his first impression of asking her for money was a massive turnoff. He doesn't miss a beat. He says, "Okay, can I get your Instagram then?"
He's persistent.
He is. But she refuses, again, citing that she doesn't give her socials to strangers. And after this brief back and forth, he just casually says, "Have a good one," gets in his car, and drives off.
This is a masterclass. Absolutely brilliant.
Wait, I have to play devil's advocate here, because I know exactly what a lot of guys are thinking right now. They hear that story and think, he got rejected, he shot his shot, she shot him down twice, and she openly stated his joke was a terrible move. How is this a masterclass? Didn't he objectively fail?
If you're only looking at the superficial outcome, like did he get the phone number, then sure, you could call it a failure. But you have to look deeper. You have to look at the frame control. He actually won that interaction, hands down.
Let's define that really quickly, because frame control gets thrown around a lot. What does that actually mean in the specific context?
Think of frame as your internal reality. It's the emotional weather you are experiencing. Frame control is the ability to maintain your own weather, regardless of what the other person is doing.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Right, so if you are having a sunny day and someone else brings a thunderstorm, do you get wet and miserable, or do you stay sunny? In a social interaction, the person with the stronger frame absorbs the other person into their reality.
Okay, so how did he maintain his frame here? Because she brought up pretty intense thunderstorm with that ice-cold silent treatment.
Let's break down why she was so frustrated by this that she went and complained about it online. She admitted he was objectively handsome. She recognized his value instantly, but she was furious. Why? Because he didn't play the expected social script. He didn't kiss her ass.
The expected script being the white knight routine.
Exactly. The standard behavior for a guy in that situation standing next to a beautiful woman who is visibly flustered is to either awkwardly stare at his phone and pretend he doesn't see it, or step in and say, "Oh my gosh, do you need a few dollars? Let me cover it for you."
Right, trying to be the hero.
Yeah, he offered zero expected validation. He didn't try to rescue her to win points. Instead, he made a playful, slightly cocky joke that placed him in the dominant, unbothered position.
And when she tested him with that silent treatment, he didn't crumble. To me, that is the most fascinating part of the encounter. Think about the last time you made a joke to a stranger and it landed completely flat.
It is uncomfortable.
It's agonizing. Most guys will immediately backpedal. They'll start apologizing profusely. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was just kidding. I know you're stressed. I didn't mean to offend you."
Yeah, the evolutionary fear of social rejection kicks in, and they try to smooth it over. But the moment you do that, you hand her all of your power. You've submitted to her frame. You've essentially said, "Your reaction dictates my emotional state."
Precisely. But this guy, he didn't apologize. He didn't try to explain the joke. He didn't try to make her feel better about being flustered. He just let the silence hang, got his food, and walked out.
And the fact that they walked to their cars at the exact same time, we all know how that works. She saw him walking out and subconsciously, or maybe even consciously, maintained pace.
Of course she did. She positioned herself for the approach. And when he asked for her number, he was operating from a place of total non-neediness. He shot his shot. When she made it difficult and rejected him, citing the joke, he didn't try to justify himself or argue. He just smoothly pivoted to the Instagram.
Yeah, and when she threw up a second wall, he calmly went about his business. He showed zero attachment to the outcome.
The hidden frustration for her is that his completely unbothered reaction got under her skin. She wanted him to beg.
She wanted him to try harder. She wanted to feel superior. She wanted to reject him and watch his shoulders slump. She wanted to see him visibly defeated so she could walk away feeling like a queen who just dismissed a peasant. By acting cool, calm, and collected, he completely denied her that ego boost. He maintained his power. His behavior communicated, "You're attractive, I wouldn't mind getting to know you, but if you're going to be difficult and unpleasant, I have absolutely no problem walking away."
Which, ironically, is incredibly attractive, even if she won't admit it in the moment. The actionable advice here for you listening is massive. Never apologize for a playful tease just because it doesn't land perfectly.
Never.
Maintain your composure. If you approach a woman and she decides to be difficult or she throws up attitude, just walk away. Your calm, unbothered departure is infinitely more powerful than any witty comeback you could possibly think of.
It proves that your confidence isn't conditional on her approval. And that brings us to a massive behavioral shift in how men are operating today, which ties directly into this idea of being unbothered. It's causing a ton of outrage.
Ah, yes. The nonchalant era.
Yes. There is a very vocal outrage among women right now regarding men being nonchalant. You hear them venting constantly on social media. They hate how men just don't seem to care anymore. They claim that these nonchalant men are out here hurting people because they refuse to show deep emotion right out of the gate.
They're practically begging for men to bring back the care, to bring back the guys who actually give a damn.
Right.
It's wild to see this play out because I immediately connect this to the classic trajectory of the nice guy. Because men don't usually start out nonchalant. They aren't born that way. They start out nice.
Oh, absolutely.
Think about being in your early 20s. You bend over backwards for a girl. You buy the expensive dinners. You send the long good morning texts. You listen to her vent about her toxic ex for 3 hours on the phone. You do all of this because society, romantic comedies, and even women themselves tell you that this is how you build a genuine bond. You show you care.
But what is the actual real-world reward for that behavior?
You get friend-zoned every single time, or you get taken entirely for granted. You become the emotional sponge, the free therapist, while she goes out on Friday night and dates the guy who leaves her on read for 12 hours.
Right. So we have to look at the evolutionary mismatch here. Men adapted. Men are, at their core, highly logical creatures when it comes to systems. They ran the nice guy program, saw that it resulted in a 0% return on investment, and they realized that when they show too much interest, women instinctively pull away.
So this new nonchalant attitude that women are complaining about isn't men suddenly becoming heartless sociopaths. It's a defense mechanism, but it's also just an effective strategy. It's a recalibration.
Exactly. When a modern man shows interest, and the woman starts acting slightly difficult, playing hard to get, or creating unnecessary drama to test him, he doesn't chase her anymore to prove his love. He simply steps out of the way. He goes on with his life. He removes his attention.
But I want to explore this claim that nonchalant men are hurting people, that they're leaving a trail of broken hearts because they won't open up and be vulnerable. Is there any truth to that?
It's an illusion, and frankly, it's massive hypocrisy. The women making these complaints aren't getting their hearts broken because a man is genuinely abusive or cruel. They are agitated because the specific men they desire refuse to jump through their hoops.
They can't control the dynamic.
Exactly. They want the thrill of the chase, but they want the man to do all the chasing.
And the irony is, they always have the option to date the nice guys.
Always. There is an absolute army of men in their DMs right now who would happily write them poetry, pay for every meal, and worship the ground they walk on.
But they don't want those guys. They aren't sexually attracted to them. They want the high-value, unbothered guy, but they want him to act like the desperate nice guy, which is a fundamental contradiction.
Precisely. You cannot have a guy who is highly sought after, ambitious, and deeply grounded in his own purpose, who also acts like a needy puppy dog. The traits are mutually exclusive.
This transition, though, from nice guy to unbothered man is where I see a lot of guys trip up. Because they wake up one day, realize the nice guy routine doesn't work, but then they wildly overcorrect.
They swing 100 miles in the other direction?
Exactly. They go from acting way too needy to acting completely cold, bitter, and almost antagonistic towards women. And that doesn't work either. It just makes you look angry and uncalibrated. Finding that middle ground, being genuinely unbothered, having frame control, but still being able to confidently communicate interest, is an art form. It's tricky to navigate alone.
It requires a deep understanding of social dynamics.
Right. And actually, if someone wants a more structured roadmap on how to communicate that interest while maintaining that cool, unbothered frame, some men prefer learning through a structured program, and Stealth Attraction is one example of that. It gives you a step-by-step framework so you don't overcorrect into being a jerk, instead of just leaving you to guess where the invisible line is between needy and completely aloof.
I agree completely on the need for a system. Having a framework is what prevents you from acting out of pure emotion. When you get rejected, or when a woman tests you with silence, if you don't have a system in place, your ego takes over.
Right, you react instead of respond.
Yeah, you either get angry and lash out, or you get needy and apologize. But when you understand the mechanics of attraction, you remain centered. You stay nonchalant, not because you're trying to punish her or play a toxic game, but because you genuinely possess an abundant mindset.
And that abundant mindset is exactly what is driving the next major friction point we are seeing in the dating market. This perfectly transitions into the economics of attention and the revolving door of dating apps.
This is where the gamification of dating really shows its flaws.
So women are experiencing this very specific confusion on dating apps like Hinge or Bumble. They will be swiping and they will match with a guy they've already dated in the past. Or maybe it's someone they spoke to for a few weeks, but it kind of fizzled out. And instead of the guy pulling up her phone number and texting her directly since he already has it, he just rematches with her on the app and sends a casual little message there.
And women despise this.
They are furious about it. They call it emotionally unintelligent. They call it juvenile. They genuinely cannot understand why a grown man would rematch on a dating app when he already has her contact info in his phone.
Well, let's decode the matrix for them. The reason the woman is so confused and insulted is because she is operating under a completely false assumption. She is assuming that because this guy is circling back and matching with her, he wants to take her seriously. He doesn't.
Okay, I have to challenge this because I can see why a woman would think that's objectively rude. If you like someone and you want to see them again, why wouldn't you just send a text? Isn't rematching on an app just lazy?
It is low effort, but it's deliberately low effort. The men she is swiping on the top-tier guys that receive the vast majority of female attention on these platforms, they have options, lots of them. When that guy circles back and rematches with her on an app, instead of texting her directly, he is intentionally sending a very clear, low-investment signal.
Right.
He's bored, it's a Friday night, he's swiping on the toilet, and he's just looking for something casual.
He isn't trying to reinitiate a formal romantic courtship.
Not at all. By keeping the interaction contained on the app, he keeps the barrier to entry extremely low. He's basically communicating, I'm around, I'm casually interested in hooking up if you're down, but I'm not going to text your personal phone number and act like we are about to start a serious relationship.
Yeah.
He is managing expectations.
That is fascinating. But what gets me is the staggering double standard here, because women play this exact same game, just with a different currency.
Well, absolutely.
A woman will match with a guy, give him a little bit of attention, text him for a day, and then pull it away. Then a month later, she'll randomly view his Instagram stories, or she'll go like a photo from 3 weeks ago. She does all of this to keep him on the hook for validation. She has absolutely zero intention of sleeping with him or dating him seriously. She just wants the ego boost of knowing he's still interested.
So you have two parallel games happening. Women play the game for attention and validation. Men play the exact same game for physical intimacy.
But when men do it, it's labeled emotionally unintelligent or toxic. When women do it, it's just exploring her options or being playful.
It's a complete lack of self-awareness. The truth about modern dating right now is that women are psychologically exhausted. You hear them saying it everywhere. I'm sick of this white culture. Guys just want to get drunk and hook up. No one wants to settle down and get married anymore.
But the reality underneath that exhaustion isn't that all men are terrible or that romance is dead. It's that women can no longer place a dozen men against each other in a frantic race to extract free energy, free expensive dinners, and free validation.
Men have stopped competing to qualify for that.
Exactly. If a guy takes a woman out on a date, pays for the meal, and she acts disinterested, entitled, or spends the whole time on her phone, he doesn't try harder on date 2. He doesn't send her flowers to win her over. He just unmatches her and moves on to the next.
The leverage has shifted. And this loss of leverage leads perfectly into how women's demands shift over time, which brings us to the provider demands. This is where the timeline of male value really comes into sharp, undeniable focus.
Man, this scenario blew my mind. There is a woman who explicitly stated online that her absolute biggest deal breaker in a partner is a man who doesn't provide. She proudly refuses to split bills, refuses to pay for anything, and refuses to take care of a man in any capacity.
Okay, pretty standard traditional demand.
Right, but in the exact same breath, she casually reveals that her first baby daddy never worked a single day in his life since they got together at age 18. She stayed with him for years, supported him, and only left when he eventually got fired from whatever brief part-time job he finally managed to get.
It is the ultimate contradiction. But as crazy as it sounds, it's incredibly common.
I have to ask you this, because guys see this dynamic and it drives them absolutely crazy. It breeds so much resentment. Why do women spend their prime early years with guys who offer zero stability, zero financial support, and zero ambition? But then suddenly, when they hit 28 or 30, they demand a fully established provider who has to pay for their entire lifestyle.
Because it exposes the harsh biological reality of the sexual marketplace. And more importantly, it highlights the ultimate unfair advantage that men have if they are willing to put in the work.
Break down the evolutionary psychology there. Why the sudden shift in what they find attractive?
It's about how mate selection strategies change over a lifespan. A woman's desirability, in terms of sheer, unfiltered physical attraction from the opposite sex, is often highest in her early 20s. During that time, she doesn't require a man to provide resources because she's driven purely by raw attraction, excitement, and emotion.
She wants the bad boy.
Biologically, she's looking for good genes, the exciting, slightly dangerous, highly confident guy. That's why she stays with the 18-year-old who doesn't have a job or a car. He's fun, he's unpredictable, he makes her heart race.
But then reality hits.
Reality always hits. The consequences of those choices accumulate. Maybe there are kids involved. The thrill wears off. She realizes you can't pay rent with excitement. And suddenly her biological drive shifts towards security and provisioning. So she changes the rules of the game. Suddenly her standard shifts from make my heart race to pay my mortgage.
And this is exactly where the male value timeline becomes a superpower.
Exactly. A man's value is not innate. You aren't born with it. It is built over time. It's like compound interest. While she is spending her early 20s giving her best years to a guy who doesn't work and doesn't care, you, as a young man, need to be building your foundation.
So the lesson for the listener who's maybe 22, getting rejected and feeling bitter about it.
Stop getting bitter. Use that energy. Focus entirely on yourself. Be the guy learning a trade. Become a master mechanic. Get your HVAC certification. Become a welder. Start a business. Grind in your corporate career. Put your head down and work incredibly hard in your 20s. Build your physical body. Build your bank account. Build your social skills.
Because when you hit your 30s, the script completely flips.
100%. When you get older, and you have acquired the resources, the stability, and the quiet confidence that comes from actual achievement, you get to dictate the terms. You become the prize. You get to look at the dating market and pick who is worthy of your commitment.
It's a total reversal.
It is. Young men often get incredibly jealous of women in their early 20s because those women get attention effortlessly. But as a man, if you build yourself up, your 30s and 40s offer a level of leverage, freedom, and choice that most women will never experience.
You don't have to settle for the woman who is suddenly demanding a provider after she spent 10 years dating guys who lived on her couch.
Precisely. You get to choose the woman who respects you and brings peace to your life.
That is a massive paradigm shift. It takes the pressure off the current moment and forces you to play the long game. It's incredibly freeing. But let's say you are that guy. You've played the long game. You've built yourself up. You have the great career, the discipline, the fitness. You enter the dating market as a high-value man, and you immediately run into what I call the unlimited time paradox. This is, in my opinion, the core delusion of the modern dating market.
Let's dissect it. What does this paradox look like in practice?
A woman recently admitted online that her biggest problem in dating is this specific contradiction. She wants a man who has a great career, a thriving social life, works out every single day, has a solid routine, and strong morals. Basically, she wants the top 10% man, but she wants him to have unlimited time for her. She wants him available around the clock.
That is functionally impossible.
Yeah.
And more importantly, it is sexually disastrous.
See, I need you to explain why it's disastrous, because on paper, a lot of guys hear that and think, okay, she wants a successful guy who treats her like a princess and prioritizes her. I can do that. I'll just sleep less, I'll manage my schedule better so I can be with her all the time.
And that is the exact mindset that will destroy a guy's dating life. Let's deconstruct why this demand for unlimited time is complete delusion. Everything that makes a high-value man attractive, his ambition, his physical discipline, his social standing requires massive amounts of time, energy, and relentless focus.
You can't fake it.
No, you do not get a great physical body without spending hours in the gym every single week. You do not build a lucrative career without dedicating the majority of your mental bandwidth to your purpose.
So her demand for unlimited time is actually asking him to dismantle the very things that make him attractive to her in the first place.
Exactly. It's an impossible math problem. But let's play it out. What happens if a man actually yields to this demand? Let's say he meets her, falls head over heels, and decides to revolve his entire life around her to make her happy. He starts skipping his evening gym sessions to come over to her place and watch Netflix. He distances himself from his friends because she wants to have dinner dates every single night. He stops putting in the extra hours at his business.
He becomes fully, entirely available.
And the moment he becomes fully available, the moment he is up underneath her 24/7, he becomes clingy. He becomes needy because he has lost his mission. A man's mission used to be his purpose. Now his mission is her.
Think about it like an economic principle. It's hyperinflation. If a government prints too much money and floods the market with it, the money becomes worthless. If you flood a woman with your time and attention, making yourself entirely available at a moment's notice, your presence loses all its value.
That's a brilliant analogy. Hyperinflation of time. And what is the brutal reality of what happens next?
She loses attraction.
Completely and utterly. She will literally wake up one day, look at this guy who has sacrificed his friendships, his hobbies, and his goals to be with her. And she will feel what they call the ick. She'll complain to her friends, he's just too suffocating. He has no life of his own. He's not the ambitious, driven, exciting guy I met.
It's a trap. She asks for it, but if you give it to her, she resents you for it.
It is a trap. The neurological basis of desire requires space. Desire is about wanting what you do not currently possess. Women have far more respect and far more sexual desire for you when you are not constantly in front of their faces.
They need time to miss you.
Right. If you are always there, always texting back instantly, always showing up with coffee, she has absolutely zero space to wonder about you. There is no mystery. Fire needs air to burn. High-value men know the game. They do not compete by offering unlimited time.
They offer quality time.
Exactly. They offer quality time strictly on their schedule while remaining fiercely focused on their purpose. When he is with her, he's fully present. But when he leaves, he is gone, back to his mission.
It's amazing how predictable human psychology is when you strip away the romance and just look at the raw mechanics of desire. Which brings us to our final point, and honestly, the most ironic piece of evidence we have seen in this entire shift. The final irony. How women actually secure commitment from men.
Let's hear it.
There is a highly revealing piece of advice going viral among women right now. It's from a woman in her late 20s, and she is giving advice to other women who are complaining about guys not texting them back, or guys pulling away. And her advice is absolutely brutal. She says, he doesn't like you, stop texting him.
Okay, standard advice.
But then she goes further. She urges these women to completely back off, claiming that men are, and I quote, so stupid and ego-driven that if you just act like he doesn't exist, he will automatically come closer. She literally scolds women her age, saying, how are you in your late 20s and you still think showing more interest will make him more interested in you?
The irony here is staggering. She is framing this as a toxic flaw, unique to men. She calls men stupid, ego-driven creatures. But what she's actually describing is the fundamental, inescapable law of human desire.
Scarcity creates value.
Always. She is discovering that showing excessive interest kills attraction. And she thinks she's cracked some secret code about male psychology. But it's not just male psychology. It applies equally, if not more so, to women. This is the exact mirror that men need to look into.
That's what I find so hilarious about this entire dynamic. Women are practically screaming at each other on social media, figuring out that pulling back and acting distant works like absolute magic on men. Yet men are still out here struggling to realize that pulling back works even better on women.
Because men are logically conditioned to believe that effort equals reward. Think about how we are raised. In your job, if you put in more hours and work harder, you get a raise. In the gym, if you lift heavier and go more often, you get stronger. So logically, men apply that to dating. They think, if I show her more attention, if I do more favors, if I text her more, she will like me more.
But attraction isn't logical. It doesn't respond to a spreadsheet of good deeds. It's emotional.
Right. Chasing does not work. When you back off, when you act like she is just a small, pleasant addition to your already busy, fulfilling life, her anxiety spikes in a good way. She starts to wonder, why isn't he chasing me? Doesn't he realize how pretty I am? Does he have other options? Am I losing him?
And that's where the magic happens.
Exactly. That space, that uncertainty, that subtle fear of loss is where attraction actually grows.
It's the ultimate cheat code. Stop doing the heavy lifting. If she pulls back, you pull back further.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You match her energy, or you deliberately dip slightly below it. You let her come to you. You maintain your frame, you fiercely guard your time, and you stay focused on your mission.
Let's summarize the key insights we've unpacked today, because we've covered a massive amount of ground, from burrito shops to dating app algorithms. The dating market has not been ruined. It hasn't collapsed. It has simply been exposed.
The curtain has been pulled back.
Right. The old rules of chasing and proving your worth are dead. Men are no longer blindly competing for a woman's attention, and this shift is forcing a massive reset across the board.
The blueprint for success is clear. High-value men are maintaining their frame. They do not get rattled by silence, by tests, or by attitude. They keep their time heavily guarded, refusing to become the unlimited time lapdog that ultimately kills attraction.
They protect their peace.
They do. They understand that their attention is their most valuable currency, and they are fully prepared to walk away from difficult, entitled behavior without a second thought.
And most importantly, they intimately understand the mechanics of scarcity. Which brings me to one final provocative thought I want to leave you with today. Something for you to deeply mull over as you navigate your own dating life this week. We just explored how women are practically begging each other to stop chasing men because they inherently know that distance is the only thing that creates attraction.
It's human nature.
So ask yourself, why are you still rushing to text her back in 30 seconds? What would happen to your dating life, to your internal confidence, and to the way women look at you if starting tomorrow morning you treated your own attention as the most expensive, exclusive commodity in the room?
Because at the end of the day, the power in any relationship dynamic doesn't belong to the person who looks the best or makes the most money. The ultimate power belongs to the person who needs the other least.
Let that sink in. Until next time.